Welcome to our tree tomato farm. This is one of our blocks. This is our block number 100. We're doing purely tree tomato on this block. Yeah. So welcome. See what we are doing here.
How months so far?
6 months. Yeah.
And this stage is that of?
This is the fruiting stage. Actually, we expect to get to the market perhaps in the next 2 months, as you can see. These are, almost ripening fruits.
So the fruiting stage.
Yeah, this is the fruiting stage. And as you can see, we are now receiving the maximum fruition. Yeah.
Hi, our online follower. Asante sana. Thank you very much for joining us. So, welcome back to Focus Africa. So today, we are going to deal with tree tomatoes. And on our today's episode, we have Mr. Njine, who is a farmer and a seedling propagator located in Nyangate, Kirinyaga County. Thank you very much, sir, for hosting us.
Welcome, and let's learn.
Thank you very much. So, Bwana Njine, what has been the process of the tree tomatoes?
Let me say with tree tomatoes, you begin by seed raising. You go get that variety that's doing well in the farms and also in the market. So it begins a bit of a market research and also, the farm research. One that favors the market and also favors the farmers. That's where we began actually. So we got a few varieties of tree tomatoes, grew them in our mother blocks, a few species of each. Then from there, we did select now one that is performing better. From that point now, we did the seed multiplication of that. After which, when the plants are ready, so we brought them here. These are block half an acre, as you can see, but is accommodating actually 1,000 stems. All of them of one variety, selected now from our mother blocks. Yeah.
What are the changes that you saw so that you can start propagating your own seedlings?
Let me say in the fruit farming field, it's been challenging to source a variety, a common variety that is doing good. So we began by buying seedlings initially. After a while, we learned that there was shortage of seedlings. Seedlings that a certain farmer desires. You want a certain variety that is doing good. To source seedlings of the same type became a challenge. Therefore, we began now a process of seed multiplication. We get that seed that is doing good, we bring it to our mother blocks, we customize it and, do seed multiplication. Exactly.
What are the stages that come along so that we can reach up to it?
Let me say this begins with, after getting your light seedling, you now get your light spacing, that to begin with. In our block here, we are practicing a spacing of 1 meter between the trees and 2 meters between the rows. That's a spacing of 2 meters by 1 meter. That accommodates 2,000 stems per 1 acre. So after establishing our spacing, then we do now our rad preparation. In this case, we did actually minimum tillage. We used herbicides to clear the vegetation. After that, we did our shallow, holes, in which now we did some manure, at least 2 kgs of manure per hole, and then some 50 grams of planting fertilizer. Basically DAP, that's what we did. Mix up evenly. Then, came with our seedlings planting, then, did enough water. That is adequate amount of water. After that, now you've kicked off your tree tomato process.
So let's say maybe the tree is up to this level. What the type of irrigation that we use?
In our case here, we have a source of water down there. I'll let you see before we are through. We do open irrigation. So we do our generator and the pipes. We flood the fallows. As you can see, between every 2 stems, we've done a shallow fallow. So we wet that fallow. That's our method of irrigation. Basically open irrigation. Yeah. However, any other method of irrigation is okay. Drip irrigation is okay. Though area irrigation is not okay. You can't use a sprinkler on this. You may not use a rain hose on this, so that you bring down the fungal infection levels. Yeah.
So how long does it take for us to have a harvesting stage?
Basically, from our experience in the past, tree tomatoes will take 8 months. That is from transplanting to the point of harvest, first harvest actually. Yeah, so like in our case here, we had 6 months, and as you can see visibly, our tree tomatoes have begun to bear fruits, and they've borne fruit up to now the 4th internode. As you can see, this is the 1st internode, 2nd internode, 3rd internode, and we have our 4th internode here.
And we are getting to the 5th.
We are going to the 5th and the 6th, so that is the age of 6 months. So we are expecting that by the time we are approaching the 8th month, we shall now start harvesting the first batches. Yeah, tree tomato is harvested throughout the year, provided now you've enough water.
All right. So it can last you for how long after you start harvesting?
From the research that we've gotten from our past farmers, that is in books, we find them say that your tree tomato plant can live in your farm for up to 8 years. For us, we are still young. Our oldest plants are 4 years old in our mother block, and they're still doing very good. Yeah.
So what are the common pests that invade the tree tomatoes?
So far, we've encountered a number of pests, some quite severe actually, and also fungal infections. Yeah, for example, at one point we had a high population of caterpillars. Caterpillars are a category of chewing pest. They do chew the leaves. They pierce holes, quite huge and large holes in the tree tomatoes. Other than that, we've also come across the aphids. Aphids will suck, the sap from the leaves, and the leaves will dry and fall. We've also come across what we refer to as the spider mites that will eat up the tips of our tree tomatoes, and you're left with a tree tomato without the growing shoots because they've been eaten up by the spider mites. Exactly. Then we've also encountered a number of fungal infections. Actually, you can mention ranging from blight, ranging from black spots, and also what we refer to as leaf rust. Yeah. However, it's possible to get pesticides that are able to control all those pests comfortably and also control the fungal infections. Yeah.
Bananjine. So I can see we have very good size for tree tomatoes. What are the feeding program for to have such kind of fruits?
To achieve this, you begin by the right way of planting. That is feeding your crop right at the planting stage. In which case, as you plant to your manure, after preparing your hole, doing your manure, you need to add some reasonable amount of planting fertilizer. That is fertilizers that are rich in phosphorus. So in that case, we do 50 grams of an appropriate planting fertilizer, mix up well with the soil, then plant our seedling. From there now we get to the vegetative stage when your tree tomatoes are getting away from the ground, lengthening 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet and above. So at that point now we do fertilizers that are richer in nitrogen for the vegetative period. So you do fertilizers that are richer in nitrogen. That is at the age of like 2 months. You top dress 2 months. Then you also top dress at 4 months with the same fertilizer. So as you approach now your 5th month and above, you start doing now your NPK, the complete NPK, like the 17-17-17. Yeah, and any other fertilizer that is richer in NPK and some trace elements. That fertilizer must be rich in potassium. Potassium is responsible for the size of fruits that you can see. Will also be responsible for the taste.
Yeah.
That attracting flavor and color of the fruits. Potassium will help a lot in that. Therefore, actually, the potassium fertilizer is the final fertilizer that we do. However, it is very good that as you do your NPK 17-17, also try to do it alongside with trace elements. Elements like boron, elements like zinc that are very important at the flowering stage. Then you also do your foliar feeding. Your foliar feeding will follow the same pattern as your basal fertilizers. That is, at the planting, you'll do foliar feeds that are rich in phosphorus. At your vegetative stage, you do foliar feeds that are rich in nitrogen. At your maturity stage, like we are 6 months to 8 months, you do foliar feeds that are rich in potassium and the trace elements. So they fall in that sequence. Doing that way, we've been able now to achieve this in our fields.
So we have some tree tomatoes that these at the flowering stage that they fall off. What could be the reason for that?
Yeah, there are two factors that cause flower fall. We have flower fall in tree tomatoes, and we also have fruit fall. Flower fall will come due to two reasons. One, lack of boron. Two, insufficient amount of water in the soil. If your plants are struggling with with the water, they will have the flowers aborting. Or else you've not done some trace elements with boron. For the fruits, if you find your fruits falling, mostly that will be due to either lack of water in the soil or caterpillars. We have caterpillars that pierce your fruit and get inside. By so doing, they injure that fruit and eventually it will fall.
Is that the reason why they become hard?
Exactly. They become bumpy.
Yeah.
Regarding the pests and diseases, basically any clients that approach us, from the experience we've gathered in our mother blocks, and now in this field, these are commercial field. This is not a mother block. These are commercial field, and this is one of our fields. This is actually the block in our fruit farming blocks. These are block number 100. So what we normally do for a client who comes to our farm to source for seedlings, we walk the journey with them, right from planting to vegetative stages to maturity stages. We work hand in hand with them. We do farm visits. We also do phone call to check how they are doing, and we're able to guide them to avoid the pests and the diseases, and also to avoid incurring too much cost by perhaps purchasing pesticides that are not appropriate for this, that may not be working actually. So by so doing, we are able to help farmers who come to our place for seedlings to cut on the cost of production. By cutting the cost of production, that is by avoiding purchases of pesticides that are not appropriate. A farmer is able to realize an extra coin, more profit, more cash in the pocket.
It's profitable.
Exactly, out of fruit farming.
It's profitable to work with Mr. Njine.
Yeah.
So does this variety that you have propagated do well in other areas?
For example, it's been a notion that tree tomatoes only do good in the quite cold areas or moderately cold areas. However, these are a quite warm area. This is Kirinyaga, the lower side of Kirinyaga is Moya. Moya, where we encounter actually severe droughts at times. This is where lice does best. Lice is our staple food around here because of the high temperatures. However, our trial on this variety of tree tomatoes has proven successful. It's been able to do very good in these areas, you can see. So if it's doing good in this warm area, it can also do good in your area.
Wow, yeah. So educative.
Indeed. Let's walk aloud and see how good it is doing.
Yeah.
This is how now the rest of the farm looks like. As you can see,
and it has really produced.
Yeah, this variety is really a good one. However, to achieve this, there is need for good, farm practices. For example, pruning. As you can see, our crop is clean from this point downwards. It's free of succuses. Not that it doesn't produce succuses. Whenever it produces succuses, we pluck them. By mechanical method. We just pluck them by our hands, so that now our crop receives less competition for nutrients. Therefore, all the nutrients get up to the fruits. And by so doing, these are our results. You can see the fruit size.
The fruity.
Yeah. Also the numbers.
Tomatoes.
The numbers get quite high, as you can see. These are, for example, these are bunch has given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is 10 fruits from one bunch. Some other bunches are giving us 12, 14, 16. So by so doing, this farm has been able to do quite good.
Good feeding.
Yeah. Good feeding, good agronomical practices like pruning. spraying, lighter, application of fertilizers and manure. By so doing, we've been able to achieve this.
Wow, I like that. It's really educative. But the produce, what's your word to our farmers?
I would encourage any farmers who wishes to venture into this, to do with it, to venture without, much of a second thought, because tree tomatoes is one of the fruit trees that you can harvest for quite a long period of time. We've also done a foundation for most of the farmers. You can borrow a variety from us. You can get this variety from us that is able to withstand a lot of diseases and pests, and also keep you in production for a number of years. Yeah, tree tomatoes are unlike other horticultural crops that are harvested perhaps for some few months and then they're out of the farm. Tree tomatoes tend to be harvested for a quite prolonged period of time. Research saying that it's up to 8 years. For us, we've gone up to the 4th year in harvesting our mother block. So we can tell by the grace of God, we may approach the 80 years that the research now proposes. If we get there, no doubt we shall share that with you.
Wow, one word to the young people in our country.
Our young people, please venture into this. Begin small, grow step by step. If you stuck with seedlings, reach out unto us. We shall offer you that variety that won't disappoint you in the farm. And you have laid your foundation for fruit farming. Yeah.
Tree tomatoes.
Tree tomatoes.
Wow. I've just done one of the main farming practices taught by Mr. Njine. That is pruning, which will increase the yield of tree tomatoes. I've learned one of the main lessons from Mr. Njine. What have you learned? I would like to see you comment down below. Keep it focused, Africa. See you then.